some fragrances ask for your attention. This one demands it. The second Le Male elixir hits the air, the room changes. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't hint. It arrives, fully formed, unapologetic, and dripping with a kind of masculine sensuality that feels almost theatrical. And I mean that as the highest possible compliment. Now here's what I want you to stay for. There is something that happens in the dry down of Le Male elixir, around hour 4 or 5, that I genuinely did not expect. A shift. A softening. A moment where this powerhouse fragrance reveals something almost tender underneath all that bravado. And that moment, right there, is what makes this one worth talking about. Stay with me. Jean-Paul Gaultier. If you know fashion, you know this name. If you know fragrance, you really know this name. The original Le Male, launched in 1995, was a genuine cultural moment. That iconic sailor torso bottle, the white and blue striped cap, the lavender and vanilla combination that somehow felt masculine and sensual at the same time. It redefined what a men's fragrance could be. Gaultier has always played with tension, masculine and feminine, provocative and classic, street and haute couture. And that tension lives inside every bottle they've produced since. The Le Male line in particular has become something of a fragrance dynasty. You've got the original, Le Male Terrible, Le Male Essence, and then in more recent years they've leaned hard into richer, more intense interpretations with the Elixir and Parfum concentrations. What makes Gaultier's approach to this fragrance family unique is that they've never tried to modernize it by stripping it back. They've gone the other direction. Deeper. Darker. More resinous. More indulgent. In an era where a lot of houses are chasing fresh, airy, inoffensive, Gaultier doubled down on opulence. And Le Male elixir is arguably the most extreme expression of that philosophy yet. Let's talk about this bottle because it deserves a moment. The Le Male torso silhouette is iconic, we've established that, but the elixir version takes that familiar shape and cloaks it in darkness. We're talking a deep, almost black lacquered finish with gold accents that catch the light in a way that feels genuinely luxurious. It's heavy in the hand. Properly heavy. The kind of weight that signals substance before you've even uncapped it. The 200 milliliters version especially, which is what we're looking at today from P11, it's a statement piece on a shelf. This is not a bottle that hides at the back of your bathroom cabinet. You display this. It earns its place. The cap fits with a satisfying click, the atomizer sprays with an even, confident mist, and the whole thing feels like it was designed by someone who understood that the theater of fragrance begins before you even smell it. Does the bottle match the scent's character? Absolutely. Dark, rich, a little dramatic, and unexpectedly refined up close. That's the elixir experience in physical form. Right. The first spray. This is where elixir separates itself immediately from everything else in the Le Male lineage. It opens with this extraordinary rush of warmth, not heat exactly, more like the warmth of candlelight. There's something sweet and resinous in that first blast, almost like a deeply aged amber or a thick, honeyed lavender. But it's not cloying. What strikes you immediately is how the sweetness is cut through with something that reads almost as smoky, or perhaps a touch of incense. It's rich without being suffocating, though I will say, projection on that opening spray is significant. You will announce your arrival. This is a fragrance that precedes you into a room and stays after you've left. For those of you who know the original Le Male, you might be expecting that familiar clean lavender barbershop quality. Forget it. That note is here, yes, somewhere in the DNA, but it's been transformed. It's like lavender wearing a heavy fur coat and standing next to an open fireplace. Familiar but unrecognizable. As the opening settles, and we're talking the first 30 to 60 minutes here, the heart of Le Male elixir begins to reveal itself. And this is where things get genuinely interesting. There's a rich, resinous sweetness that deepens. Think benzoin, think labdanum, think ingredients that medieval perfumers would have traded fortunes for. There's a quality here that I can only describe as almost gourmand adjacent without ever becoming a food fragrance. It doesn't smell like dessert. It smells like the air in a high-end leather and wood shop that also happens to sell very expensive candles. And then there's the floral undercurrent. Don't let anyone tell you this is purely masculine in a traditional sense. There's a richness in the heart that has genuine unisex credentials, a warmth and depth that I think any confident wearer could own regardless of gender. That's a strength, not a weakness. What surprised me in the heart phase is how cohesive it is. Sometimes with these very rich, elixir-style fragrances, the heart feels like it's just piling note upon note without direction. Le Male Elixir doesn't do that. There's a deliberate architecture here. It moves with purpose. Here we are. Hour 4. This is what I promised you at the start. By the time Le Male Elixir reaches its dry down, something remarkable has happened. That initial intensity, the projection, the richness, the almost aggressive opening, it softens into something almost skin-like. There's a warmth here that feels deeply personal, like the fragrance has bonded with your skin chemistry and created something entirely its own. The base is anchored by what I describe as a dark, woody amber accord, smooth, intimate, with just a trace of that lavender from the opening doing one final quiet appearance. It's elegant. And it's that word, elegant, that genuinely surprised me. Because in that opening spray, elegant is not the word you'd reach for. Powerful, yes. Dramatic, certainly. But by hour 5 or 6, this fragrance has the sophistication of something that costs significantly more than it does. The dry down is where Le Male Elixir justifies itself. This is the soul of the fragrance, and it's a generous, warm, quietly confident soul. Let me be straight with you here because longevity claims can be wildly optimistic in the fragrance world. On skin, I'm getting a genuinely honest 8 to 10 hours before it becomes a true skin scent. That first 3 hours though, the projection is substantial. We're talking a room filler, particularly in the first hour. If you're in a lift, in a meeting room, in a restaurant, people will notice. This is not a skin scent that hovers close and keeps secrets. It makes itself known. On clothes, which is always the real test, you're looking at well beyond 12 hours. I've had Le Male Elixir on a jacket the next morning and it's still genuinely present. That's exceptional longevity and speaks to the quality of the ingredients and the concentration. In terms of when it peaks, that's actually around hours 2 to 4 for me. The opening is intense and spectacular, but the fragrance finds its most beautiful register in that middle phase where everything has settled but the projection is still meaningful. Evening into night is where this truly belongs. Late afternoon through to a night out. This is not a Monday morning office fragrance unless your office is a very understanding one. Let me paint you some pictures. If you're the type of person who gets dressed with intention, who considers what they wear as an extension of how they want to present to the world, Le Male Elixir is your fragrance. If you have a leather jacket that's older than some relationships, and you pair it with something unexpected, and you walk into rooms like you're not looking for anyone's approval but somehow everyone looks anyway. That's who this is for. If you're someone who wears fragrance as armor, as that invisible layer of confidence before a dinner, a date, an important evening, this delivers. The projection in those early hours gives you exactly that psychological lift. You smell expensive, you feel capable. And this is genuinely unisex in the right hands. If you're a woman who gravitates toward rich, bold, unapologetically statement fragrances, think alien, think black opium territory but warmer and more resinous, Le Male Elixir deserves your attention. Who should not wear this? If you are fragrance shy. If you prefer your scent to be a private thing. If your workplace has a strict fragrance policy, or you spend most of your day in close quarters with people who might find projection overwhelming. This is not a two-spray and disappear option. It is what it is, boldly, confidently, loudly. And if that makes you uncomfortable, there are quieter choices. Let's do the maths. £153 for 200 millilitres. That works out at 76 pence per milliliter. In the context of niche and luxury fragrance, where you're routinely paying 2, 3, sometimes £4 per ml, that is genuinely excellent value for the quality sitting in this bottle. And I want to be clear about this. You are not primarily paying for the Jean Paul Gaultier name here. The name is part of it, yes, but the liquid itself, the concentration, the longevity, the sheer presence, this justifies the price point independently. If you're looking for something that scratches a similar itch at a lower price point, I'd point you toward the original Le Male Parfum, still rich, still a statement, but a touch more accessible. That said, the Elixir does something the Parfum doesn't, and that dry down we talked about is part of it. P11 are stocking this, the link is in the description, I'll put it there for you, and the 200 ml size genuinely is the one to go for. The value calculation only gets better at that volume, and frankly this is a fragrance you'll want more of once you're into it. My score, 8.5 out of 10. The reason it doesn't hit 9 is purely that opening projection. In certain contexts, it's almost too much, and I think some wearers will find themselves reaching for it less often than they'd like because the social commitment is significant. But the quality of the composition, the longevity, the dry down, the value at this price, all exceptional. Le Male Elixir is Jean-Paul Gaultier at their most ambitious, a fragrance that takes a legendary lineage, amplifies everything that made it iconic, and adds a depth and sophistication that genuinely earns the Elixir name. It's not for the faint-hearted, but for those who wear their fragrance with intention, it's close to unbeatable at this price. If you already own Le Male Elixir, here's what I want to know. Did that dry down, that quiet, intimate, skin-close finish, did it justify the price tag for you? Or did you find something that does it better for less? Tell me in the comments, I genuinely read every one. And if honest, no-nonsense fragrance reviews are what you're looking for, subscribe, I'm here every week.